Seems like everyone had a case of the Mondays in this game on a Tuesday, CP.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
that fourth quarter alone, I mean, even third going into the fourth, I was like, are the Knicks going to give this to the Raptors
Right.
or the Raptors? Like, what's going to happen here,
Are
man?
we
I
gonna
have no
blow
idea.
this thing or what? But thankfully, Jalen got in and took us home with some tough shot making. Give credit. I thought Scotty Barnes. I thought his defense was really good all night, and especially when the Raptors were climbing back into it in that third quarter and into that fourth quarter, they did a good job, especially on the Knicks ball handlers and kind of just pushing them from their spots and pushing them closer and closer to that half court line to really slow down the Knicks offense, drain some of that shot clock, and force the Knicks into some tough decisions and really bad shots. I thought the Knicks got a little bit not a little bit, got way too stagnant for most of that second half and just a lot of sloppy basketball. But hey, either way, they got the win. And in the beginning, Raptors kind of usually have this similar start in all their games where you have like the BI barrage. And Brandon Ingram, he's going and he's getting his buckets. And I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, all right. Eventually this is all just going to like fall apart for them. And the Knicks are going to wake up. And they did. My role play of the game, Al, is Josh Hart, man. 12
Talk about it,
points,
CP.
7 boards, 7 dimes, and 5 stocks, 3 steals, 2 blocks. And he talked about it after that win over the Spurs where, look, he wasn't shooting it all that well, but he wanted to impact winning. Well, today, he made that impact felt from the beginning and then closed with some gritty play. And even took a big shot to the ribs by Mitchell Robinson, inadvertent knee. Took a big shot to the ribs. But, Josh Hart, to me, man, I thought he really helped seal this one for them, man.
The 50-50 hustle it just poured over from that game against the Spurs into this one, CP. And look, whether it was just crashing the boards, getting critical rebounds, whether it was attacking out in transition, he brought a lot of grit. And look, I was scared for him as well, Mitchell Robinson, man, because
Ooh.
Mitch before the half, you see Mamu just hits him in the ankle and then he goes down. Then you see when both Mitch and Hart are fighting for the rebound, Mitch inadvertently hits Hart. I'm like, yo, can we just get out of this game alive? Please, for the love of God. All right. We got OKC tomorrow. We don't need any injuries. We don't need guys to be on the injury report, can't play tomorrow. I want to see the real test, man. I want to see how the Knicks fare against the Thunder, okay? The number one team in the West. Nevertheless, Hart was doing what he needed to do tonight. And look, I know that people are going to talk about Hart shouldn't be in the starting rotation. He doesn't add shooting. He doesn't do it. We all know all the negatives, but I feel like this is at a point where we're in the relationship with this guy where you know how like you could be in a relationship, CP, and then both of you all like overlook each other's values and you'd be like, you don't do this, you don't do that. It's like, yo, but what does he bring to the table that is valuable? And I feel like people forgot that. Remember when he joined, it was like, yo, we got somebody that's going to hustle for 50-50. He's like a ball hawk. He's like playing free safety. Yo, he's willing to attack out in transition, fight through contact, doing the stuff that we wanted RJ to do. But at that point of RJ's career, he couldn't do, right? And so you get that from him. And now it feels like since he's been here long enough, we kind of take him for granted. And
Yeah.
it's like, all right, well, you can't do this one thing that we really need you to do so that way we get this perfect offense. And it's like, for me, man, there's no such thing as a perfect team. All right. Each team has its own flaws. Some have it minimized more than others. Like when you look at the Thunder, or when you look at one of those other top teams, right? Even Detroit. Detroit's like a good team, right? Number one in the East, but they got their
Yeah.
flaws. All right.
Yeah.
You go see how that team looks like without Cade when he's not facilitating and doing what he needs to do, man. Then they're gonna struggle. But regardless, for Hart, man, it just feels like he's just being taken for granted at this point. And tonight, even though it's against the Raptors, and some may say, hey, it's the Raptors, they're just kind of like this tweener team where they're good, but they're not really that good. We should go in there and beat them because we have the veteran experience. We got the savviness on this squad. It's stuff like tonight where a game where it's just so messy. This is a perfect Josh Hart game where he goes in there and it's like, cool, make it messy. I'll clean it up. I'll do the stuff that these guys don't want to do. And
Yeah.
for that, that's where you get the stat line tonight. And this is where he just shines, man, and does what he does at best.
No question. And yeah, I'm with you on that 100% in terms of taking him for granted. And this is where, the data people like the data. This is where the data, you don't see this, right? The data doesn't measure the grit, the toughness, and the physical that you had to match. That's what the Raptors were coming with. That's what got them back into this game. And
look at RJ, man, who was tackling with physicality. And then you had Josh Hart who was matching it.
That's right. So you had to be able to match that. And that's why when I say the only person who I'm taking him out for, if the matchup needs it, and this is playoffs because we know right now that he can't really handle that. If the matchup dictates, it's only Mitch. That's it. Mm-hmm. I'm not with the Deuce. I'm not with the Shamit. Like, those guys can come in off the bench when they need to. But nobody else can give you the intangibles like Hart. None. Not a single player on this team. Not Mo, not Shamit, not Duke. Not a single one. They all have their skills, and they all have their specialties. But this guy still has that grit. How about Towns, man? 21 points, 13 rebounds, 6 dimes for Karl. It started the game off very well. Almost got a lot of these in that first half. 1 steal, 1 block for Towns. How about the block and the one-handed little tomahawk that he had there?
Yeah,
that was nice,
man.
That was, he was getting in on the defensive action.
He was getting busy in that first half, man. He went quiet in the second half. I mean, I thought in that third quarter, fourth, once again, it's like, Alvarado, you're doing too much, man.
Yeah.
Do what you were doing in the first half, man. You're like working the pick and roll, finding Towns, getting him into rhythm. Do that, man. I felt like, and I don't know, there was like one play in particular where I look at both of them as like the issue where Alvarado called for Cat for the screen, and Cat kind of gave him a half-ass screen, and then next thing you know, it's like it doesn't get Cat open. Like, he pops, but now you just made it easier for Alvarado to turn the ball over, and then he had to try to figure something out,
right?
And go solo out there. But it's just stuff like that, man. That it's going to take time. Alvarado just got here, clean it up. But I thought Towns, if he continued what he did in the first half, of the second, he could have been player of the game, man. He could have easily been player of the game.
Coulda.
The rebounding was there tonight. All right, you got 12 boards. You talk about the scoring. Very efficient night for him. 10 of 17. Did a lot of that work in the paint, too. All right. He took 4 shots from downtown. 4 shots, right? 17 attempts.
Yeah.
13 was in the paint, man. He was grinding. And, thank God for those last 2 shots, all right? Because he drove, had a good floater, had a nice mid-range that fell through as well. Also got a critical rebound to extend the possession. I think he either got the first or the second. I can't remember in that fourth quarter of the offensive rebound. So Towns was hustling out there, man. And look, in these type of matchups, he should be getting a lot more looks just because who he's going against, Jakob Poeltl, can't hold weight against him, man. So that's why, to your point, where it's like, where is Towns in the second half? He's got like, there's nobody on that in the front court that can handle him. So continue to look for him, man. And he had it rolling. That's the thing. And this is where it's so confusing because he has a good first half, and then you're just like, it's like we just wipe away of like what he was doing. It's like, forget that, amnesia. Use the Men in Black pen. Whoop, forget that. And next thing you know, it's like, we gotta go other directions, man. It doesn't make sense.
Captain Clutch, Jalen Brunson, ladies and gentlemen. Jalen Marquise Brunson, Alex. Close.
Oh, wow. Going with the full government game.
You got to go with the full government, man. He wasn't playing no games with him out there tonight. He wasn't playing with Scotty tonight. 10 points in the clutch. This is why we paying the big bucks out. This is why we call him Captain Clutch, man.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely delivered, man. What'd you think, man?
Phenomenal, man. And look, I thought he was having a pedestrian game as it was like from the start, right? He was getting his shots here and there, but it's like, the numbers don't look great. And to me, it looked like a guy who expended everything against the Spurs and was exhausted, probably had a steak dinner. It looked like he had a steak dinner before he walked on the court, man. But fourth quarter, this is why he got the award last season, CP, as you noted. Just got busy. And to me, like, the thing is that he was calling for the rock. He was like, yo, get me the ball. Because everything that was happening in that fourth quarter was like, no. Wait, why are we doing this? This makes no sense. And then Brunson's like, all right, guys, get out of my way. Let me get to work. And some of those shots were just off scripted, like had to put up something, like the mid-range jumper, right? Just like guys closing out, knocking him down. That's stuff that you can't script, but it's like, all right, let me get the rock, figure something out, drill it, the three at the top that he had in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Another one, tough shot. And his ability just to create when everything is just chaotic, right? You get whether it's an offensive board, he's the last guy to touch the rock with like 8 seconds to go. He just figures out where he needs to go and then gets that shot. Somebody to stay that cool and collected in those moments, hey man, that's why you pay him. That's why you pay him what you pay him, and that's what you expect out of him. But phenomenal performance today, man. Phenomenal performance.
Yeah, 26 points for the captain, Jalen Brunson, including 10 in that fourth quarter. 10, I believe he had 10 dimes, right? 10 dimes? Did count? Let me just go back here and just double check the stats here. I was looking for his post-game interview. Did you find it?
I got it right here.
Oh, you got it? Okay. Yeah, 10 dimes for Cap, 10 to 22 from the field, only 2 of 7 from downtown. But as you said, it was started off a little bit pedestrian, but then he started to pick it up and got the job done. All right, let's get to the key stats of the night, Al, brought to you guys by Prize Picks. Knicks shoot 57% from the field, man. 45 for the Raptors. 34 from beyond the arc, from three-point land. 29 for the Raptors. And, Raptors is not a good three-point shooting team. So that was kind of par for the course for them. For the Knicks, a little bit below average. And then only 29 threes, way below their typical 40 average. 75% for the Knicks from the charity stripe to 89% for the Raptors. Knicks winning the rebounding battle 43-28. 32 assists on 46 made field goals for the Knicks. So a very efficient night. Great ball movement, especially early in this game and then later on when they needed to. And then turnovers. 18 Knicks turnovers leading to 22 Raptor points. And then 15 Raptor turnovers leading to 17 Knicks points. Let's see what else we have. Fast break battle, 17-13. Knicks win that. Points in the paint, 52-42. Knicks win that, as we'd expect. And then largest lead of the night, 16 for the Knicks to 10 for the Raptors. Knicks leading this one 77% to Raptors 20% of the time, which was basically that first quarter run.
Look, man, this was a good fought game by the Knicks. I think the biggest thing for me in tonight's matchup is just the rebounding. And I know it's not like what they did against the Spurs, where I think they got to like the 60s. 43-28 to out-rebound a team like that, just physical, impose your will, dominant effort. That's what that tells me, man. And even though the Knicks were, up and down with their offense, they were still out there hustling, and that's what you want to see. Now, the one thing I didn't like is the turnovers, 16, and I felt like there could have been a lot more, CP. There could have been a lot more turnovers tonight. It was just too loosey-goosey. I don't know if it was just tired. I don't know if it was just the travel. Now you got to travel back. I don't know what it is. But just got to protect the rock, man. I mean, thankfully they played an inexperienced Raptors team. Once again, we know they're good, young team. But if they were a team that was capable of exposing you on turnovers, this could have been a blowout. But thankfully it wasn't. So I just want to see the Knicks continue to work on that, even when they're exhausted. But the rebounding, man, at least they were able to play with that hustle and effort tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you. The rebounding battle, I mean, that's their strength. Like, if you look up the history, the 4-game series between these two guys and add up all the rebounds, the Knicks have to, double them up maybe three times for the entire series. I mean, look it up yourself and see. But I think it's got to be close to that. But you're right. I'm with you also on the turnover battle. They play a better team. They might lose this game. This might have been a choke job rather than a gritty win. So they were fortunate in that. But also give credit to the Raptors. As I said, they were 7th-ranked defense coming into this. Scotty Barnes, I thought his defense, look, Jalen hit a lot of tough shots. But Scotty, by and large, I thought his defense was good. And led to a lot of those turnovers that the Knicks had, especially in that second half. So give credit to the Raptors on one end and give credit to the Knicks, especially Jalen Brunson, for some tough shot making and getting the Knicks out of a jam and ultimately getting the W. So shout out to the team. And once again, Al and good people in the chat. The key stats tonight brought to you by Prize Picks. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Prize Picks is back in New York and all 50 states. So sign up using our code KFTV and get $50 in bonus lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. And Prize Picks, Prize Picks was one of the original sponsors of our program, of Postgame Live. And with Prize Picks, how you play is very simple. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. That's it. If your picks are right, you cash in. And with the Knicks rolling, I'm looking at Jalen Brunson's points. I might stack that up a couple of projections in the same lineup, and that's one of my favorite features, man. You can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Points, assists, threes, you name it. So, and now they've also got early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you can lock in your winnings before the game even ends. Prize Picks, as I said, is available in 50 states. Quick to deposit. Withdrawals are fast and secure, and you can even follow the social feed to see what the communities are building. So don't miss out. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code KFTV to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code KFTV with Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
You see my boy tonight, man. Karl-Anthony. See my boy out there hooping, man. My son got this steal, a little slamming and jamming, as Cloud would say. This overall good team, I feel like I come in here saying this a lot more often, so that's a good thing, This everybody getting into a nice little flow, nice little rhythm leading up into the playoffs. Like I said before, we in a stretch run, and just seems everybody's just getting connected on the same page, and that's a good thing. The only thing that little hesitancy is like when we like to start off the game and to start off the third quarter. Like I think we could be better in those situations. Like you said, I don't know, what it is in the starting unit. They just be cruising. When they come into the game into the third quarter, they just be chilling. But that's my only gripe. The last couple of days. That's one thing to see them really start off games throwing the first punch, especially tomorrow, because. Well, we got a task tomorrow, but OKC, I think they was in a little dogfight with Chicago tonight too. So
yeah, they won by like 7. I'm watching Lakers Pelicans right now.
Yeah, so hopefully it should be even playing ground tomorrow, and hopefully we keep this team dub up. It looked like it was last year again. With the cap just coming in, just soon as that 5-minute mark came in, he just brought us home. So I think they only scored like 2 points in the last 5 minutes or so. So this overall, good team defense and just the captain saving the day, man. Good team dub. I'm happy to see the boys hooping. I'm happy my boy Cat is hooping. My boy slamming and jamming, smiling all over the place.
Yes, sir.
Good. So
slamming and jamming.
Good job.